Thank you for staying with us. You're still watching The Breakfast on Plus TV Africa. It's time for our second hot topic that says reps divided over bill to make voting mandatory in Nigeria. A bill seeking to amend the Electoral Act 2022 to make voting compulsory for eligible Nigerians has sparked division in the House of Representatives. The bill, co-sponsored by the Speaker Tajuddin Abbas and Rep. Daniel Asama, proposes fines or jail terms for non-compliance, citing low voter turnout and the need for civic responsibility. Asama argued that mandatory voting would strengthen democracy, citing global examples like Australia and Brazil. Also called for INEC reforms, noting that the agency's dual role caused inefficiencies and public distrust. Opposing lawmakers, mostly from the PDP, questioned the timing, citing electoral flaws, insecurity, and outdated voter registers. They insisted trust must be restored before enforcing such law. Joining us this morning is Comrade Mark Adebayo, is the National Spokesperson, Coalition of United Political Parties. Good morning, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Good morning, viewers.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
All right, mandatory voting in Nigeria, and of course, just with this report, you can see that there are so many nuances that we have as a country that might just not allow this to work. So insecurity, there are places that sometimes even the ballot boxes do not get there. So what happens to those people when they're not able to vote because it's going to be shown on the register or whatever the case might be that they did not vote? What's your take on this? Because I think for some people it sounds ludicrous, but where do you stand with this?
Actually, it's absolutely ludicrous and funny peculiar. It is a product of extremely lazy mindset. Because what happens to making education compulsory? What happens to making good provision by the government compulsory? What happens to making good rules compulsory? Rather than, you cannot. These are, even if they pass it, it's unenforceable. They don't have enough prisons to put people in when people refuse to go out and vote. You cannot force a people to go out and vote under one useless law saying that they should go and vote. It's compulsory for them to vote when they are hungry, when they are insecure, when you see, look, there are things in the Constitution, the Electoral Act, that even the INEC, the Independent National Electoral Commission, is not adhering to now. They are not making those ones compulsory because it's very clear. The Constitution is very clear about. For instance, in the last 5 years, the INEC has not registered one single political party. Despite the fact that there are many applications pending before they do give one excuse or the other, claiming that they have cases in court, they want to get rid of all those cases first. When those cases are sorted out for 2023 election, they will return to. This is 2025. All election cases have been done with since before the first quarter of 2024. This is 2025 May, and they have not registered one single political party. And it is a right of Nigerians to come together. The law is very clear. Any association that meets the requirement for party registration should be registered by Independent National Electoral Commission. But because there's an unholy alliance between the APC and the INEC, they have refused to obey the law. They have refused to adhere to the provision of the Constitution and the Electoral Act that empowers INEC to register any association that has met the conditions for registration. But they are playing politics with that. They are not making that one compulsory. That is a right of the people. They are not making that one compulsory. And I'll say that it should be mandatory for every Nigerian of 14 age to go and vote. No, it's not going to work. You can't force someone who is hungry to go and vote. You can't force someone when you have not even gotten your technology right. When the votes are not even counting. The votes are not counting because of shenanigans going between political parties and INEC. So until there's a law that makes it compulsory for electronic transmission of results, you cannot force anybody to go and vote because you need to encourage people. It is not by law. It is not by law. It is not by forcing people. It's not by decree to decree people that you must go and vote by fire by force. You cannot decree people who are hungry, who are insecure, who are unemployed, who are poor to go and vote. When you have refused to give them the inducement to go and vote, if you create security around the voting environment, if the votes will count, they are not counting at the moment. If the votes will count, then people can go out and vote. But until we make electronic transmission of results compulsory in this country, you cannot force people to go and vote by fiat. No, it doesn't work that way.
When you were talking about hungry people not wanting to go and vote, something just flashed on my mind, and it was very funny. Maybe that's why they share rice during elections, so that people will not be hungry anymore.
No.
But that aside is that how much confidence do you even have in the electronic transfer or transmission of votes? Yes, because on IREV in the last election, we saw that sometimes what was uploaded was not even the results, but pictures of some people, that random people, and there were still votes from that those polling units that were recorded. How they got those votes, nobody knows, and it got to court, and it still went the way it went. So how much confidence do you have in this technology even? And if we have to have confidence, what else do you think they should change a little bit to make us be sure that whether it is transmitted on electronic machines, it will still count or something?
Well, you know, if we, I think let us start from there. We know they can try to manipulate the system and the machine and the rest of that, but at least let us start from there. Let it be a law. Let that be a law that says that election results must be electronically transmitted. That would mitigate, it would reduce to a large extent these rigging patterns that we have been witnessing. And we know, look at what happened to JAM recently. That's another disincentive towards advocating for this thing. But we must advocate for it. That is something that can give us a modicum of sanity in our electoral and voting processes. It's very, very important for us. For it to be legal, to be constitutional, it must be a constitutional matter that, look, there must be electronic transmission of results. It must be made compulsory. That will give some kind of confidence to the people in the electoral processes. And so people, the voter party that we have in the country can significantly be reduced when people see that, look, to some extent or to a large extent, their votes will count. People don't go out to vote because they believe their votes will not count. So nobody can make it a law. It is unworkable. It is an unenforceable law. Even if they pass it, if they manage to pass it, it will proliferates. It will now make people to now say, okay, I'm not going out to vote. I will not go out to vote. Come and do your worst. That's what is going to happen. We need to talk about advocacy in the area of electoral education of the people. We need to talk about good governance. When people see that the government they are put in place, by their vote is doing well, is delivering on promises made, they'll be encouraged to vote. If people see that their votes count, that when they go out and stand in the sun under the rain to go and cast their vote and stand on the queue for hours to come and cast their vote, the votes will count. And not one professor will now go and add 14 plus 14 and say 14 plus 14 is 1 million. It's 1 million votes. So if they know that their votes will count, people will go out and vote willy-nilly without anybody even making it mandatory for them. You don't need to push people to go and vote. The fundamental human right of the people to decide to participate in an election or not participate. Can we force people to go and contest? If you cannot have a law that will force people, that make it mandatory for you to go and contest, then you cannot make a law to say people should go and vote. No. They are not looking at the areas of good governance. They are not looking at the areas of corruption. They are not looking at the areas of good health, good education for people, free compulsory education for Nigerians, where you have over 20 million out of school children roaming the street all over the place. We are not looking at that, making those ones compulsory for the state and the federal government to ensure that education is provided compulsorily for the people. It is the government that must be put under compulsion to deliver on good governance, to deliver on administration, to deliver on security, to deliver on good health, to deliver on good roads, and to deliver on food security. Not that people, you cannot force, you cannot commandeer the people to go and begin to vote when they are not sure their votes will count. That is the kernel of the matter. That is the kernel of the matter. This one is a bloody legislative waste of time, born out of absolutely uncommonsensical thinking process. Absolutely. It doesn't make any sense. Wow. It doesn't make any sense. There are other things they need to do. All this white elephant legal, parliamentary process. It doesn't make any sense.
I kind of agree with you, because to be honest, if I know that you know, my vote will count, then I would want to vote. It's my civic responsibility. So in a way, that's like the root cause of the matter. And it seems like we're not focused on that. Instead, we're just looking for a way to stifle people and say, you must vote. But in all of this, what would you say is INEC's role? Because in a way, INEC has the major role to play. We're talking IREV, we're talking beavers, we're, you know, talking ballot boxes that some of them do not even get to these polling units. You know, even some of the residents, what do they call them? The commissioners. Yes, the rest. Some of them are not even there, and they do not transmit the right results. So where is INEC's role in all of this? Instead of saying, excuse me, instead of saying, you know, voters, you have to come out and you must vote, isn't this where the representatives should be saying, INEC, the onus is on you to ensure that people can trust this process and say they want to vote?
INEC, I think one of the things that, one of the fundamentals that INEC must be is to be truly independent. Is to be truly independent. You know, we have been advocating for over the years. The president, under the constitution, the president will nominate the INEC chairman. So he will place the paper, he stays the truth, and he owes his second term to the pleasure of the president. So he wants to do everything to please the president so that he can get the second term. You know, that is what is happening. So INEC must be truly independent. The president is interested in the electoral process. The president is probably a participant, a candidate in the election, and is the one to determine who will now determine the outcome of the election. Where are the scales of justice balanced in this situation? It is not balanced. It is unfair. It's unjust to the other competitors that the sitting president will now nominate or appoint an INEC chairman who gives a team in a match the opportunity or the authority to choose the referee. I mean, that's what we have in Nigeria, that a team is allowed to pick the referee in a match. So it's already rigged against the other team. It is already rigged against the other team. Now, there are certain things I've said it the other time, in the Constitution, the Electoral Act, that the Constitution, the law, has given INEC a mandate, or is mandatory for INEC to register political parties, organizations that have met the requirements of the law. But in the last 5 years or more, INEC has not even deemed me fit, despite applications by people, organizations and associations and civil society to register political parties. But because they want to defer, they are deferring. Actually, they are deferring to the APC. That is why they don't want to register, because they are afraid to lose power. They are afraid of a coalition, multiple coalition of political parties to get them out of power because of their bad records in government. So they don't want that to happen. Every association that applies for registration, they are afraid, oh, this one must be from the opposition. This one must be for our opponents. So they tell them, don't register the political party. So INEC is not truly independent. The current chairman, I'm able to say, and I want to be quoted on this, the current chairman was the director under the current FCT minister when the minister was a minister of state for education. And we know the roles that these particular people play in unceremoniously and illegally deregistering 72 political parties in the year 2000. So we know their game plan. So INEC is not truly independent. So it is still, it still answers, it still defers to the ruling party. It still defers to the presidency. That is where the problem is. So now on electronic voting, there is nothing we can do to get free, fair, and credible election in this country until we begin to have electronic transmission of results directly from the voting units, directly from the polling units, directly. Let them the result there and then to go straight to the portal, to go straight live. Even when Nigeria was not, when the technology was not this advanced in 1993, the June 12 election. Yeah. The results were being released, real time. Now, what happens now that the technology has advanced so much that you can even, there are some advanced countries that you can even vote on your phone. So that is why people who are citizens who are not at home can vote from any part of the world. So at least let us have this electronic transmission of results from the polling unit directly to the portal. So everybody is looking at it, is seeing it. Not when you go there and you see mutilated election results You know, they have painted it with the red barrel, with the black barrel, with the green barrel, changing it. Our professors are pretending as if they don't know their arithmetic again. And then they are giving us 1,000 plus 1,000, they are saying it's 2 million. You understand? What kind of nonsense is that? Let there be technology. The intervention of technology, well, we know that technology also can be compromised, but at least it will reduce the percentage of religion, because many politicians now, especially the party in power, they are not planning to win the 2027 election. They are planning to rig it. That is it. I speak for the opposition, and I'm saying it boldly that the APC is not, that the president is not planning on winning the election. He's planning on rigging the election, because they have a terrible record now, and nobody, no Nigerians is planning to vote for the APC to return this party to power, especially under this the current president. So they are planning. They know that Nigerians are angry with them. They know Nigerians are peeved. They know Nigerians are disappointed. They know that Nigerians are not thinking. What Nigerians are thinking about is a way to get these people out of power. So now they want to muzzle the opposition. It does not matter how many governors they come to the APC. It does not really matter. Peter Obi was able to pull off one of the biggest electoral upsets in this country without a single governor, without a local government chairman. So it doesn't really matter. Let all the governors become APC. They want to turn Nigeria into a one-party state. And this is one of the things that INEC is supposed to be monitoring and advising the political parties that what you are doing is wrong. There are specifications, there are specified processes and reasons for you to leave your party and go to another one without losing your seat. You understand? So, but they are breaking the law, they are cross-carpeting, they are decamping, doing all manner of things. You know, even on the floor of the Senate and the House of Representatives, where laws are supposed to be made, the laws are being broken. People just walk across the aisle and say, I'm no longer an NPP man, I'm no longer a PDP member, or the party on which you were elected in the first instance. You just walk over and say, you're now a member of the APC, breaking the law, breaking the Electoral Act, you know, in a way that gives impunity some kind of a decoration of honor. I mean, it's quite unfortunate that the lawmakers are the highest lawmakers in this country. I mean, we cannot continue like this and expect our democracy to grow, to develop beyond mediocre levels. And then, if your electoral processes remain mediocre, all you succeed in doing is to continue to elect incompetent, mediocre people into office. And then mediocrity is giving the galons of honor. No, we cannot continue this way in this country. I expect things to change. I expect things to be better. And I expect this country to progress. And that's why Nigerians are planning.
Okay, but because we have run out of time, let me just ask you this. You talked about the fact that INEC is not registering new political parties, and it gave you a cause for concern. What really will more political parties do to affect the 2027 election, especially as we know that we already have political parties that are not even talking in one voice? The opposition seems to be silent, especially when it comes to a coalition. A lot of them are just speaking from discordant voices. So what purpose will new political parties really serve in offsetting the 2027 game plan?
What happens is that when you have a new political party, it opens up the electoral process, it opens the political space. You know, you are good. If you are interested in going to contest election, maybe, I think you are from Cross River or Bayelsa, and you don't have 50 million naira to buy form, and you are popular in your local government, you are popular in your state, and you don't have 50 million naira to go and buy form. These new political parties will give you a platform as a young man. In fact, some of the political parties are giving, I think NDC or so, women are giving free form to contest. The youth are giving maybe 50% or just to pay 30% of the form, so that you can go in, you can contest. You are not disenfranchised on the basis of your financial incapacity. So new political parties will give platform to people who are competent, but they are not money bags, but that are popular among the people. They will be able to contest. They will be able to pay maybe 50,000 naira, 20,000 naira, 100,000 naira to buy form, not 50 million, 100 million, that many of the people that are competent cannot afford. That is what. If Rume want to contest, they will give her free form. They will give her free ticket, give her free platform as a woman. as one of the empowerment of the women to participate more in politics, to encourage them to participate in politics. Some of the political parties are doing that even now. I know of the ADC, African Democratic Congress. So that is it. That is what new political parties will bring on board, and they will be more transparent. They will be more. They will run a more transparent and all-inclusive political party, internal party democracy. That is what the new parties are bringing on board. And bringing people less privilege, they give them opportunities even to contest in the election.
Okay, so let's just cap with this right now. Making voting mandatory in Nigeria, are you for or are you against?
I'm completely, absolutely, 100% against that, because it's even unconstitutional. You cannot force people to go and vote if they don't want to vote. If you have not done well, you are not giving them good governance, you are not giving them security, you are not giving them food, you are not giving them education, qualitative education, you are not giving them all the things they want. They don't have a good return on investment. You cannot force them to go and vote. And
what if I don't even have the representation that I need? What if, you know, the political party candidates that are there, none of them really speaks to me? What happens, right? Anyways, this is how much we can take on the show right now. We want to say thank you so much for coming. It's always a pleasure, you know, having your valuable contributions on this program. Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank you so much. ProTV Africa, continue to do good. You are doing well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, sir. All right, so we're speaking with Comrade Mark Adebayo, is the spokesperson for the Coalition of United Political Parties, and we've just been speaking on the fact that the reps are divided on the bill to make voting mandatory in Nigeria. This is how much we can take on the show today. Thank you so much for having the breakfast with us. My name is Rume Paulson.
And I'm not interested in contesting any election, as he suggested. Even for play, I don't want to. Anyway, my name is Nangul Agaji. See you again tomorrow.
Thank you and have a wonderful day. Good morning.